On Thursday, Connecticut's premier event series, Shaping CT's Future, is going to be at Foxwoods. This time the focus is on sports and entertainment. So joining me here on Studio 61, Sam Barrett back with us from the Rebellion Group and Rob Thompson from the Walter Camp Football Foundation. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us, Erica.
Sam, great to have you back. So I'm going to start with
Thank you.
Talk a little bit more about the Rebellion Group and the involvement in this really great event. It's the second big event of the year.
Yeah. So it's our second event of the year. Seventh in total, and there's a few things that I'm really excited about with this one. One is the switching of the venue now that we're going to be at Foxwoods this Thursday. So that provides, I think, a world-class stage for the storytelling that's going to happen. The other thing that I think is really exciting, in particular, is the topic that we have with sports here in Connecticut. And the reason for that is I think the rich history of sport here and innovation, and Rob can speak to that better than I can. But I think it's a story that needs to be told. And the last thing, and I think that ties into all this, is the ability for that storytelling to happen in different ways. We have obviously all of the talking, speeches, panels, what have you, at the event, but we're also live streaming everything once again on the Fox 61 Plus app. And so now we're, again, being able to bring that story to audiences outside of the walls where the event is hosted. And I think that highlights the unique nature of the event series, but also, the unique nature of what we're doing with Fox here. So it's really exciting, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, really excited to partner with it. And of course, great timing coming off the UConn women's big win.
Yep.
So we're going to bring you in. Rob, talk a little bit more about that partnership and how you got involved.
Well, when I met Sam, I think it was at their first event maybe 6 months ago. And I said, Sam, you guys are really missing the big story here in the state, and that's sports innovation. So not just pro sports or college athletics. It's the state of Connecticut's been powering sports for years. And if you look at it, a lot of people don't know this, but Walter Camp, it's not just an All-American weekend in New Haven. He's the founder of American football. It's one of the greatest sports stories never told. When you drive through Springfield, it's a Springfield Hall of Fame. When you drive through New Haven, there's no word of it. There's no mention of it.
Which is really interesting and surprising. Why is that? Well,
it's a lot of things that happened back then with Ivy League football in general, because back then the sports in general, 1800, early 1900s, it was all pro sports. It was pro sports at college. Players were ineligible, players were getting paid, players put on big games. They're the ones that were making the revenue. So we've come full circle in all of this. And that's the beginning of the story. So when you look at innovation in the state of Connecticut, you're looking at the wiffle ball being born here. You look at the Frisbee, you look at starter sports, and you look at ESPN. Right? We're the corridor of sports innovation, broadcast media, financial, right? And you start stacking these things together. It's like, okay, well, we're not a pro sports market per se, right? New York and Boston is, but we're the ones that power it. There's a lot that happens here, especially with the universities feeding our workforce here.
So what do you think the status of Connecticut's sports ecosystem is right now?
Yeah, so I think we're at a very interesting time. I think the money that's being infused into AI technology and quantum, that obviously UConn and Yale are really leading that. I think all of that plugs into the sports industry, and the sports industry is a $3 trillion industry. It's actually larger than the healthcare industry. So I think when you have a lot of the money and resources of VC and private equity money down in Fairfield County, and then you have obviously the educational piece of it and the research and the development piece of it in the state, and then you have manufacturing in the state. There's a lot here. There's not many places in the country that you can pick up this little piece of land and plop it anywhere that has all 5 of them. Right. So that's the uniqueness about what Connecticut offers, and we're there to tell the story on Thursday of really making people aware of that. But it all starts with Walter Camp and what he did.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg, which is so exciting.
Right.
We could sit here and talk for another 20 minutes.
Let's keep on going. Let's roll it.
We can't. We don't have the time. But it is coming up on Thursday. Quick reminder for folks, it's going to be at Foxwoods. So great event. Obviously, these events have grown incredibly, so we're moving to larger venues.
Super exciting, yeah. Yeah,
and of course, a good reminder for folks, if you can't get out there in person, you can always stream it on Fox 61 Plus. It's part of the great thing that we do here. We provide, and the partnership is just really incredible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Erica.
Guys, thanks so much for being here.